Hi, people. Boy, I feel like I'm on a roll today. So, one of my comforts while I am in self isolation is chocolate milk. I happen to love chocolate milk. One, it's a good source of protein. Two, I love chocolate. Well, today I ran out of chocolate syrup. Now, I bought this because all it is sugar, cocoa, water, a little bit of vanilla extract, and salt, which is all it should be. I'm not a fan of high fructose corn syrup. I don't know if everything they say about it is true, but I'm not going to find out. So I don't want to go to the store and buy more. So I'm going to make some, and I'm going to show you how to make some. We are going to use the 5 ingredients. Oh, I forgot to get out my salt. Here we go. Look at that. Salt. Sorry to pass in front of the camera. Now, this is an easy thing to do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour, this is 1 cup of sugar. This is half a cup of cocoa. Pour them together. And I'm going to use this to get rid of all the lumps that are in there. Mix them up a bit. This will make it easier to mix it in because once it's wet, getting rid of the lumps is going to be a harder prospect. I'm not going to put the salt in here. I'm actually going to put the salt into the water. Speaking of water, in this pot, I have 1 cup of water. So if you're figuring this out by ratios, it's 2 parts water, 2 parts sugar, 1 part cocoa. That way you can make as much as you want. However, I wouldn't make more than, say, double this, even if you have a family, for the simple fact that this really isn't going to last longer than 2 weeks. Remember, everything that we've been making has no preservatives in it. All right. That's fairly well mixed up, and I think I've got most of the large lumps out of it. It needs about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt for this size of the recipe. That's legitimately about that much salt. Maybe a little more salt than that, but I'm not a big fan of salt, so I'm not going to put it in there, and I'll test a little more if I need it as a flavor carrier after it's made. This is something that you don't want to burn again, so we're going to put this on. We're going to start on medium high. I'm going to go ahead and put my cocoa sugar mix into my water and use my whisk and just mix it all up. All this time I want to bring it to a slow boil. That's going to help me mix it all up. This does not need to cook long. That's the best part about it. Later, once it's cooled off, I will be adding about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, because vanilla tends to bring out other flavors. It's a nice little thing to have. Vanilla is very expensive too, sadly. You know, you could actually make your own vanilla. If you can get the vanilla bean pods, what you want to do is mix, or is actually let those soak in vodka of all things. And I don't know the exact proportions, and maybe I'll find some bean pods after this is over and show you how to do it. Now I do have some lumps in here, so I'm just going to take those and I'm going to crush them up against the side, because you don't want those. A lot of that will open up when it starts to boil, but as much as you can get rid of now, might as well do it. All right. Now this is something that you want to stir fairly frequently. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this bottle of Hershey's to put it in when I'm done, once it's cooled off, because, well, that's what it's designed for, so why not? It's starting to come up to a boil. And the boil is really used as a chemical reaction just to make sure the ingredients mix together. Because cocoa is actually a hard thing to mix into stuff and not have it at least partially separate out. I've made syrup, am I even on camera right now? There we go. Huh. I've made syrup before where I didn't let it mix enough, and I will drink a cup of chocolate, and then at the end I will find little bits of cocoa lying at the bottom mixed in with what's left of the milk. Hopefully you guys saw what I was doing while that was going on, even though it was just in the corner of the screen. If not, I'll be redoing this video so you can. Alright, that's all mixed in. Now I'm going to let it come to a boil for a moment. I hope everyone's having a good day. I find myself starting to reach that point where, I don't know, it's harder and harder to keep my motivation up. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm making more than one video today, even though one of them won't be done until tomorrow. That's the yogurt video. Just to give my mind something to do and not think about what's going on in the world. My father, who lives in Denver, is in a senior living facility, and one of the other people in that senior living facility has been diagnosed with COVID-19. So now they have the entire place on lockdown, and residents aren't allowed to come out of their rooms. But my father's 91, and I'm worried about him. I love him. He is still under the impression, though, that he's going to live forever. So I don't think he's always as cautious as he should be, and that hurts me. So I'm just following up on that. I would appreciate good thoughts from all of you if you don't mind. Let's give this a moment to reach its boil. It's getting there. I want to get a bit of a roll. And that is all I want. I'm going to take it off heat, stir it to get it relaxed, because it will kind of bubble over. It will expand and froth. Now I'm going to put it on this little hot tray. And once it's cooled off, we will add some vanilla to it. So I'll be right back. All right. So the chocolate syrup should be cold enough or cool enough to go ahead and put in the bottle. I'm going to taste it. And by the way, yeah, I'm using the spatula to taste, and I brought it up before. Normally I have tasting spoons, and I bought a dozen of them just for that specific purpose. But since we are in self-isolation and I'm never going to be sharing this with anyone, by the time we're out of isolation, I'll have had to make another batch. I'm really not that worried about licking the spatula. Now it does need a little bit more salt. Another reason that I'm making this, by the way, is because today's April 2nd. I won't go to the grocery store yesterday, today, or tomorrow, and I encourage you to be the same way. The reason being is because the first of the month is when WIC and SNAP comes out. And there are a lot of families that may not have been able to buy anything for the last week or two because they were waiting on their benefits. I don't want to be that person who takes something that they may need. I can go later and I have a lot of the staples that I need, or I can make a lot of the staples that I need. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I will not be going to the grocery store to buy anything. Yep, that's right. One last thing we're going to add is about 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla. Because vanilla is just a... Have I not opened this yet? Ah, I haven't. Look at that. A fresh bottle of vanilla. Oh, that smells so good. All right, I'm going to put in 1.5 tablespoons. 1 and touch more. 1/2. There we go. Let me go ahead and close that up. Mix it up. And let's see how the chocolate came out. Oh, that is good. The vanilla just adds a little something extra. It's not necessary, but I highly encourage it, even if you're using imitation vanilla. Dear Lord, does it taste good. All right, now we're gonna pour. This is a little thin right now. It'll thicken up as it cools off even more and basically gets cold in the refrigerator. But it's very easy to pour right now, which makes it easier to get through. Scrape out everything that's on the sides, whatever else I can get out of it, because it's chocolate. And there we go. We're empty. So, that is how you make chocolate syrup. I encourage you to give it a try. If you have any questions, by all means, leave a comment.